Chris Mannix and Sergio Mora, we are counting down the top 10 Mexican boxers in advance of Jaime Munguia's middleweight fight on June 19th. Sergio, I was making a list of the top Mexican-American boxers, but I couldn't find your name anywhere.
It's the man they call a Latin snake, Mannix. It's not the man they call Mexican-American snake. And no, I'm not ranked among them.
All right, let's start with Carlos Cuadras. The former two-division champion has had a long and decorated career, fought some of the best in boxing. He hasn't won them all, but I think deserves a place on this list, Sergio.
Absolutely. I have him number 10 because he's always in an exciting fight. I mean, his last loss, it was an exciting, explosive fight where he dropped Estrada. Estrada knocked him out in the 11th. But no matter who he fights, from Sorong this side, to Chocolatito to Estrada, it's always must-watch TV. Carlos Cuadras deserved to be in the list.
Yeah, he's had some bad luck against Juan Francisco Estrada. Has become something of his nemesis, but he has won titles in two weight classes. He does have a win over Sorong Visay. Carlos Cuadras, definitely one of the top 10 active Mexican fighters. Coming in at number 9, Mauricio Lara. And this is an interesting name, Sergio, because Lara earns a place on this list probably because of his most recent fight.
Yeah, I mean, that knockout win with Josh Warrington across the pond, that's the only reason he's in the top 10. It's how he's going to bounce back and what he's going to do afterwards that's going to keep him in the top 10. But that Josh Warrington knockout is enough.
Yeah, he's going to get another chance at Josh Warrington before the end of the year. Lara is a big, rugged, durable guy. Not the most skilled fighter among Mexican boxers, but someone that packs a punch, and Josh Warrington can attest to that. Coming in at number 8, Miguel Berchelt. Not his best performance against Oscar Valdez earlier this year, Sergio, but Berchelt still a top fighter and is going to make some noise, I think, at 135.
When you're a Mexican gunslinger and you punch as hard as Berchelt, you're not going to go anywhere. You're just one or two knockouts from being in another big fight. Berchelt, definitely a big puncher and still a big name in the Mexican division.
Yeah, he was dangerous all the way up until the very end against Oscar Valdez, a former world champion. He's got some good names on his resume. And I think because of his body type, he is going to be able to carry that power and that skill up to 135. I think he'll be someone to watch in the lightweight division. Coming in at number 7, Sergio, the guy we are going to see on June 19th, Jaime Munguia, one of the more popular Mexican boxers who is just starting to make some noise in the middleweight division.
Yeah, popular because he has that Mexican style. Take two to land one. He has a big chin, a big left hook, and he's exciting to watch. But he needs that B side. He needs that Andre, that Golovkin, that Jacobs in order for him to cross over, for him to be very popular, not only in Mexico, but Jaime Munguia is climbing up there.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see how he looks against one of those top opponents that you mentioned. All the fighters at 160 want to fight Jaime Munguia. There's money behind him. He's popular. He's going to bring fans into the stands. But so far, he has been very carefully matched by Golden Boy and Fernando Beltran. And I understand that. You want to get him to a certain point and to a certain fight. But Jaime Munguia, we're going to find out if he can catapult up this list over the next 12 to 18 months when he finally starts taking on those big challenges. At number 6, Ray Vargas, 122-pound champion who is headed north to 126. Look, Sergio, I love Ray Vargas. Big, lanky, huge 122-pounder. Anxious to see what he can do at bigger weights.
And undefeated, my favorite, 34-0. But he's been inactive. Hasn't fought since, what, 2019? He needs to get started. He needs to be active. Everyone understands it's been an inactive year for a lot of people. But I would love to see him against Gary Russell. Two undefeated champions, two inactive champions. Makes sense.
Yeah, and it'd be a good clash of styles, right? Gary Russell, speed, a lot of skill. Ray Vargas, he has got that height to him and got a good ranginess to his game. I think he's a talented guy, and I think he can move up this list as well if he starts doing damage at 126. At number 5, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, the former 168-pound champion who is now campaigning at 175. Zurdo acquitted himself quite well, Sergio, at 168, and I think he can be a contender quickly at 175.
You acquitted yourself terribly saying his nickname. It's Zurdo, and it's Gilberto Ramirez, and absolutely. But he's the first Mexican to win a championship at super middleweight. He wants to be the second Mexican to win a championship at 175 in loaded division. He's exciting. He's good looking. He's undefeated. He is a southpaw. I think after next win, big things are in store for Zurdo Ramirez.
Yeah, he had some great battles with Jesse Hart at 168 pounds, and now at 175, he is going to be someone that the likes of Dimitri Bivol and others want to face. And Zurdo, if he gets a title, he's going to want a piece of Canelo Alvarez. That would be a fun Mexican clash at 175. Coming in at number 4, Julio Cesar Martinez. And Martinez, Sergio, is a fun fighter in the flyweight division. He's strong, powerful, fast hands. Really come along in the last couple of years working with Eddie Reynoso. I love everything about Julio Cesar Martinez.
Everybody loves Julio Cesar Martinez. He's explosive, he's exciting, he switches from orthodox to southpaw, and he's Brian Kenny's favorite fighter. They call him El Rey, and I think he needs somebody else to prove that he's the king of the division, but explosive, exciting fighter, definitely a top 5 for me.
You know what my question is? And look, he's going to fight McWilliams Arroyo at some point. That fight's been brewing for some time now. But do you think that Martinez, as he moves up in weight, is going to be just as effective? He's been fighting at flyweight for a while.
Yeah, I think he will, because he knows how to fight small. He knows how to switch from lefty to righty and get on the inside, and he's very explosive. That's what makes him so exciting. He knows how to fight small and go in and out, not stay inside too long and not be outside where the mid-range and long-range fighters can get you. Excellent fighter.
Coming in at number 3, Oscar Valdez, fresh off a 130-pound title fight win against Miguel Berchelt. I love everything about Oscar Valdez as well, Sergio. He took on the challenge of facing Miguel Berchelt in a pandemic without fans, and he took it to Berchelt, who at that time was probably the most feared guy in the 130-pound division. Valdez knocked him out. Valdez is a guy that I think deserves a high spot on this list.
No, he definitely does, and you can make a case that he can be number 2. But Oscar Valdez, another one of Eddie Reynoso's fighters, and he looked great. And Berchelt, I mean, he had that puncher's chance. He had the height, the length, the reach, the size. But Oscar Valdez fought smart. He used the entire ring, picked his spots, waited till the middle rounds, and then he finally attacked and pounced on Berchelt, knocking him out. I mean, he has everything. He has the speed, the power, the experience, and we know he can follow a game plan.
Yeah, it's another guy, too, you mentioned could climb up in the rankings. Absolutely can, because there are big fights for him at 130. The winner of Shakur Stevenson against Jamel Herring. Other fights down the line, he could become a superstar very quickly. At number 2, Juan Francisco Estrada. He has had a long rivalry with Chocolatito Gonzalez, coming off something of a controversial win against Gonzalez in his last fight. But that takes nothing away from his skill and his performance. Estrada is one of the very best.
He's one of the very, very best, and he's a little giant in a division full of giants, and he's fought out of them, from Sorung Desai to Chocolatito to everybody in between. He's an exciting fighter, he's an explosive fighter, and he needs a big name too. I know I keep saying these guys deserve the big fights because they lay it all out. They're Mexican warriors, and Estrada's one of them. You know, he's climbing up in age, he's in his prime, he deserves that big payday.
Well, he's had a pretty good payday when he fought Gonzalez. He'll get a better one in the upcoming rematch. And Estrada is another guy that I think there are big opportunities for over the next year. You look at Estrada's frame, he's a relatively big guy. You could see him going up to 118 pounds. And at 118 pounds, there's Inoue, one of the best fighters in all of boxing, pound for pound. Nonito Donaire just won a belt. So Estrada is another guy with a very high ceiling. At number 1, and this is the easiest spot on the list, Canelo Alvarez, the 4-division champion, the pound-for-pound king, the unified super middleweight champion. Canelo has not only become a superstar in terms of popularity, Sergio, over the last few years, but he has become a better and better boxer every time he fights. His power is there. His speed is there. His technique is getting better. I mean, even at 30 years old, Canelo Alvarez, I think, still has a high upside as a boxer.
The ambition is there. The hunger is there. He wants to be the first super middleweight to be undisputed and to be Mexican at that. When you started your career at 140, no, the resume is there, and that's the reason he's number 1 in the sport. And if you don't have him at number 1 pound for pound on your list, there's agendas, there's hidden agendas, and there's something you're hiding. Canelo Alvarez is number 1 by far.
Number 1 pound for pound, and number 1 on this list as the top Mexican boxer active today.